Did you know that there's a conversation happening that maybe you have not been a part of? Did you know there's a conversation happening behind the scenes that maybe you have not been invited to? Well, guess what? There is a conversation happening that maybe you don't know about and maybe you haven't been invited to. Or maybe you have been invited to the conversation, but it's been too difficult, it's been too painful, and you have not decided to engage in this conversation. And the conversation is about a wake up call. It's a conversation about the intentional and unintentional pain that is often experienced by black and brown women at the hands and the tongues of white women. The very white women, the same white women who claim that they are champions for women, who claim that they are feminists, who claim that they stand strong for all women in the feminine movement. These very women are intentionally and unintentionally hurting and harming their black and brown sisters, whether they know it or not. Have you been a woman who has said, and so proudly have said, I'm colorblind. I don't see color, I just see people. Are you a woman who has reached out to touch a African American woman's hair out of curiosity and didn't realize that it was highly offensive? Are you a white woman who has said, why, oh, why are we still talking about race? When my question to you is, why aren't you talking about race? Are you a white woman who constantly says, I don't have privilege. I had to work hard for everything I have. Nobody gave me anything. And do you realize what that says deeply to the souls of black and brown women who you say that to? Do you realize that that's highly offensive? Are you hosting events and choosing speakers and no one in the lineup is black or brown? Do you realize what you're saying to women of color? You're saying you're invisible. You don't have value. I don't see you. Do you create and promote and offer a magazine that has never had the face of a black or brown woman to grace the cover and be your cover girl? Do you realize what you've just said to black and brown women? Are your clients mostly white? Do they look like you? When you host events and you look around in the audience, who's there? Do most of your participants, the people who sign up for your programs, do they look like you? Or is it a beautiful, diverse mosaic of black and brown and white and various shades of women? If you think that African American women are just angry and all we ever do is talk about race, have you ever wondered why we're angry and why you're not? And maybe why you should be, especially if you say that you are a feminist, that you are a champion for women? Do you know African American women and women of color who are struggling with issues around race and racism? And have you decided to not engage in that conversation with them because it's heavy and it's hard and it's difficult? Have you accused a black or brown women of being racist because they call you out on maybe your racist behavior or your white privilege? And do you realize that there is no such thing as reverse racism? And every time you call that out, that in and of itself is racist behavior. My name's Catrice Jackson, and I am the global visionary leader of the Awakened Conscious Shift, an international speaker at Catriceology Enterprises. And yes, it is time for a wake-up call. It is time to call out the BS. It is time to break down the facades. It's time to break the ceilings. It's time to stop hiding behind this facade that I empower all women, I stand for all women. But when you look into the faces of black and brown women, you refuse to see the color of their skin and what all that brings. The history, the legacy, the pain, the struggle, the challenges, the strife, the grief, the worry, the stress, and the list goes on and on. If you are saying that you are colorblind, that means I'm invisible. That means you don't see me. That means that you don't see the beauty and the value that I contribute to the women empowerment movement. Being colorblind is not a good thing. And I'm going to highly suggest that you stop saying that today. To put down that badge that says, I am colorblind, I just see people. Because the truth is, being human and being American has become synonymous with being white. And there is no way that I can be that. There is no way that black and brown women will ever be human and American until you step up and come from behind that white picket fence and become an ally in the lives of black and brown women. So yes, I've written a book, and it is unapologetic, and it's raw, and it's real, and it's truthful, and it's honest. It's genuine. It's edgy, but it's refreshing. It's delightful. It's going to wake you up, stir your soul, and move you out of your comfort zone in a way that you've never been moved. And that's exactly what needs to happen. Because any feminine movement that fails to aggressively and intentionally work to eliminate racism is hypocrisy. And there is so much hypocrisy going on in the feminine movement right now that it is crazy. And I am here to call it out. I am here to break down the glass ceilings and the glass walls that stand between white women and women of color. This is your wake-up call. Now, you will listen to this video and you will become angry and you will run away and you won't purchase this book. And that is a clear indication that you are an antagonist. Or you might hear this message and say, what if it's true? Maybe I should check into this. Maybe I should get this book. And that is a clear sign that you are an advocate. And if you're hearing this message and you're saying, hell yes, Catrice, it's about time that somebody called out this BS that's happening in the women's empowerment movement. Yes, I stand with you. Yes, it is offensive to say that I am colorblind. And yes, I know that as a white woman, I have privileges and I have work to do. Then you are beginning to stand as an ally with black and brown women. So you'll easily be able to discover where you sit, where you fit, and what you do with solutions that I will provide to you to help you move from antagonist to advocate to ally. If we're going to heal and change the world like the Dalai Lama said and save it, we got to save ourselves. We got to heal ourselves. We got to stop with the cliques, the catfights, and the colorblindness, which I talk about in the book, Antagonists, Advocates, and Allies. It's time for a wake-up call. No more. No more of this phony mess. No more of this BS. No more of the lies and the facades and the exclusion and the pain and the catfights and all of the above. It's time for us to see women for who they are, honor them, respect them, embrace them, and include them in every piece and every step of this movement. This is your wake-up call. So it's up to you. You can grab this book if you want. You can stop watching this video and you can become angry. Or you can say, what if it's true? What if Catrice is saying has truth to it? And I am harming women that I don't know. And I am harming women that I do know. People in my family. My colleagues, my clients, my friends, my associates. What if all this is true? That's the question I want you to ask. What if it's true? From the time you pick up the book to the time you put it down. And you'll soon discover what the truth is for you. So again, I hope that you get your copy of Antagonists, Advocates, and Allies today. Because if you're not working to aggressively and intentionally help eliminate racism, then everything about your feminine movement, everything about your championship for women, everything about your call and plea and message saying that you empower all women is a lie. It's hypocrisy. And if you're not standing with your black and brown women to help eliminate racism, you're a hypocrite. And yep, I hate to call it out like that, but it's the truth. So grab your copy of this book and find out exactly whether you are an antagonist, advocate, and ally. Read it, digest it, and get busy taking action to eliminate racism in the women's movement and in the world. It's time. This is the wake up call. And yes, there will be more to come. Grab your book today.